very special episode of the show. Vinny in Australia. Vinny's the guy I always stay with when I go to LA, making the web show. And this is a little clip from our first interview in 2002.
What do you know about Australia?
The only thing I know about Australia is I had a friend of mine that was a roadie with Alice Cooper.
Right.
Okay? And Alice Cooper, when he was hot, played in Australia. He says it's like Brooklyn was in the 50s when we grew up.
Wow.
And so then I've always had this image of I would love to go there because I know that I can relate to the people there. And every time I meet Australians, we get along great. So.
Yeah, so there's been lots of funny adventures shared so far with Vinny, including filming on the porn set. That was fun. And I knew he'd love Australia, especially how much he loves our sports.
I mean, to this day, I still don't understand what cricket's all about. You know, they run back and forth between these two little things, and guys just stand out in the sun for hours.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like only two guys play, the batter and the guy who pitches the ball.
Classic.
And he has to hit these wickets. Do they have to fix that thing every time somebody knocks it down?
Yeah, well, the good thing about coming to Australia in the summer is you got plenty of chances to watch the cricket. But that's what it was all about. Vinny coming over to Australia. There he is, arriving at the airport. It was pretty cool to see, and of course took him to see the sights in Sydney at first stop, the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. And of course, when you're in Sydney, you've got to visit Bondi Beach, which is just amazing. Even on a bad day, it's still good. But that's what we did. Then we flew back to the Gold Coast for our friend Nathan's big fight. And then it was time to show him the Gold Coast, where I'm from. And there's Surfers Paradise and the coastline, which is just amazing. And yeah, again, even on bad days, it's still nice. And there's Vinny enjoying it, the view north. And today we decided to go to the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, which is an awesome place on the Gold Coast. And a big thanks to Aaron and the team down there, and especially Matt for showing us around. And yeah, we decided to head in there and check out some of Australia's wildlife. Great for Vinny. Alright, so here with Matt at the Bird Sanctuary. Matt, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
That's good. Now, what do we got planned today? We're going to go for a quick look around the park?
Yeah, we'll go for a quick walk around the park and we'll do an introduction to a few of the unique animals that we have here in Australia.
Alright, and so what got you interested in being involved in something like this?
My interest stems from birth, I think. Mine's more of a disease than anything. It's an obsession. I love animals, particularly Australian animals, and in particular Australian reptiles.
Yeah, okay. And so,
love the crocs, love the snakes, love the lizards.
And so what's it like working here? I mean, in amongst it, you get to see people from all around the world coming and enjoying it. It's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm lucky. This is somewhere I wanted to work literally since I was a kid, and I'd grown up holidaying on the Gold Coast, and I remember as a kid coming in here and thinking that's where I want to work when I grow up. And I haven't grown up yet, but I do still work here.
Good for you, man. So what's like the biggest pleasure you have, like working in a place like this? Or is there a favourite animal you have?
The people are great. I mean, people that work with wildlife are people that enter the workforce wanting to contribute toward making the world a better place to live. I mean, they want to secure animals for the future. We don't want to see species continue to go into decline. So they're people that are passionate about what they do, and they're really good, enthusiastic, earthy people that you work with.
Yeah, they are great people. And while the lizard watched us finish our coffees, we headed off for our first adventure. Alright, so Matt, what's first up? Where are we heading?
We're going to an exhibit that has a real diversity of Australian wildlife. It's got nocturnal, diurnal, meaning active at night and active by day. We have aquatic animals, semi-aquatic animals, so there's a bit of an array in there for you to have a look at.
Awesome. Yeah, so as we crossed the train tracks, we headed indoors and check out this big sucker. I could not believe that was just sitting in the tree, so I had to ask Matt about it.
He's a favourite of mine. His name's Maximus. We've had him here 10 years since he was a hatchling, and he was only about 300 millimetres long.
Wow!
He's the biggest python species we have here in Australia.
Oh. That's a big sucker.
That little guy is the only reptile that we know of on the planet at the moment that lays eggs underwater. So they're from right up in northern Australia, where we have wet and dry season. And during the wet season, the land is inundated by water. And as we reach the time of year that the rain's about to stop and the water's about to dissipate out into the ocean, that's called the runoff, because all the water runs off. As they come into the runoff, females are heavily laden with eggs, so they dig down on the bottom, lay their eggs under the mud, underwater, and when the water runs off, then they start to incubate.
Yeah, so a huge thanks to Matt for personally taking us around, and there was so much amazing information that he had. He's so passionate about the different animals and everything else, and that's just freaky. Both those images. But yeah, it was awesome just checking out some of the animals, and of course turtles feeding and saltwater crocs. It was just amazing to get the view. I mean, look at that. underwater, just the skin and everything was just incredible. And these coming up are giant skinks. Can you believe that? From the little ones we have in the yard, that's the big ones, so they can get that big. And of course Vinny got some great photos of just beautiful lizards, just the beautiful green colours there. And the other variety we have in Australia, and of course the snakes.
What are we looking at in this one?
This one's the inland type end, or small scale snake, or fierce snake. And it's the most venomous snake on the land snake on the planet.
Yeah, so from something scary to something that everyone around the world wants to cuddle, and that is the magical little koalas.
Her name's Maka, named after Neil Mackenzie, late Neil Mackenzie. About 11 months at the moment.
They're pretty cute and they're little, aren't they? They use these two claws that are glued together, or fused together, as a grooming claw. And it's like an afro comb. They literally constantly work away at their fur to make sure there's no knots.
Like an afro comb, yeah.
Yeah, well it is, because if they had clumps or knots, when it rains, they'd be laden with water. Whereas if they keep the fur in the texture it is at the moment, the water literally just bounces off them just about.
Yeah, they are just absolutely amazing, and of course always at danger from the things us humans do, but God, you just wouldn't want to hurt them, they're so gorgeous. So it was awesome to show Vinny the koalas. And from there we headed over to the Kangaroo Flats, and this place I love to come to. I just love the kangaroos. So Vinny led the way, and we made our way inside and down towards the kangaroos. And of course you always see families there, and this little fella got a little bit scared. But it was all good because his mum was close by, so no harm done. And of course the kangaroos just have the most interesting, I think, personalities, and just look about them, it's incredible. And it was great to watch Vinny taking some photos, and of course doing a little bit more than that.
What do you think, Vin? Pretty awesome?
Hey, there's a little Joey. Smile, you're on candid camera.
Yeah, so it was time to meet the leader of the pack, and there he is, the mighty leader. That is Gizmo. And I was obsessed. I wouldn't leave him alone. I wanted him to do something for the camera, but he was trying his best just to get me out of there and let me know he wasn't interested. But it was pretty awesome just looking at their shape and the way they roll around, and there he goes. He's just absolutely amazing. And I thought if I got a bit of a closer angle he might do something for the camera or rear up, so I had a bit of a chat with him.
Gizmo. What? What's wrong?
Yeah, and he wasn't interested at all, and I don't blame him there, having a sleep. But our last stop with Matt was the crocodile wetlands. As Vinny opened the gate, I got to film some of the smaller crocs doing their thing, swimming around the pond, and this was hilarious. As soon as I walked around the corner and I saw this, I said, "Holy moly!" And Matt said that's its name, Holy, the 5-metre saltwater crocodile. And it was awesome having Matt there so we could learn a little bit more about the situation.
Holy came from Cape York. He's from Pomparour, which is an Aboriginal community up on the Edward River. And we think he's probably about 36 or 37 years of age because he was hatched in the croc farm, and it's literally just a swampland that's been fenced right on the corner of a river system in the Gulf. His jaw pressure, or big croc's jaw pressure, has been measured at exceeding 3,500 pounds per square inch.
Wow.
So he's got immense bite pressure.
So once again, a big thank you to Matt for showing us around. Just some awesome creatures on display at the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. And as we were walking out, I had to bother the emus just to get some good footage on the way out there. Of course, Vinny loved checking them out as well, taking photos. And there's just so much to do at the sanctuary. It's a great place for the families. The kids just love it. Of course, learning about nature's a great thing. And the famous train. So it was a fun last day for Vinny in Australia, and if you're watching this from around the world, make sure you check out the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary if you ever come to the Gold Coast, which I hope you do. It's a great place, and thanks for watching. Glad Vinny had a great time. It's awesome making a show about dreams and dreams that come true, so rock on.
And you're working your way from the